Hello and welcome to Jump To It for IrishRacing.com and Betting Expert. I'm Shane Anderson, and today is the opening day of the 2021 Cheltenham Festival, and we've got an amazing card of racing coming your way. Seven races on the card, highlighted by 4 Grade 1s, including the first of the championship races of the week, which is the Champion Hurdle over 2 miles. We certainly had a lot of talk over the past couple of days about the size of the fields, but one thing's for sure, the money is coming for quite a few of the Irish-trained runners as we head into the big meeting. It's great to welcome in the panel, who will hopefully find plenty of winners for us for Cheltenham this year. Stephen Harris, Ed Quigley, and for the first time, Vincent Finegan from IrishRacing.com joins me. Guys, great to catch up.
Shane.
Really looking forward to the meeting this year. And Stephen, I'll start with you. What are you looking forward to the most about the card today? And being a form analyst and a tipster who's been in red hot form, are you going into the meeting confident?
Always start confident, Shane. This year the markets are absolutely extraordinary on day one. The punters have declared wholesale for all of the Irish horses, and all of the favourites are incredibly short. Appreciate it was 5-4 yesterday, is now 5-4 on, or 11-8 on, even shorter. Shishkin, who was 6-4 on, is now 2-1 on. In the handicap, Happy Go Lucky is 7-2 tight. In the Champion Hurdle, Honeysuckle has been smashed, is now generally a 5-4 chance, having been 2-1 earlier in the week, and Concertista in the mares race is as short as 11-10. So they have declared wholesale for all of the favourites. So perhaps now the value might lie elsewhere.
Good insight there. Ed, you, of course, live close to Cheltenham. A couple of things. One, what's the weather like going into the meeting today? And two, no doubt you went for a jog around the course this morning. How's the track?
Well, I went for a 10-yard walk and was out of breath, put it that way. But yeah, it's damp, it's dank, but it's not raining. There was a splatter of drizzle overnight, not even worth calling it that, if you like. It's just a bit grey and overcast. Obviously, on the build up to this, we had 13 days of dry weather. A little bit more rain than originally forecast over the last 3 or 4 days. So ground conditions officially soft. Good to soft in places to kick off proceedings. I've heard a few jockeys who've walked the course, probably more informed than myself, and say they reckon it'll be riding quite gluey, quite holding, quite sticky, how a few of them described it. So I think of the first day, at least anyway, it will be quite hard work, but it's set fair throughout the week. There's pretty much no rain forecast at all. So I think by Friday you will see the best of the conditions. So yeah, it'll be on it's on the soft side. It'll take a bit of getting, but as you say, Shane, cannot wait. The action looks absolutely fantastic, and the wave of money for these Irish good things is there for all to see.
Well, looking forward to getting your tips, because you've got a well-earned reputation as long shot Ted, and I've certainly seen that you've gone for some wide-open selections there, some value on the card today. We'll talk about that shortly. And for the first time, it's great to have Vincent Finegan from IrishRacing.com join us. First of all, Vincent, the build-up to Cheltenham's enormous. I know that the Irish love to win at this meeting more than probably any meeting throughout the year, and we're seeing so much money coming for the Irish-trained horses so far this morning.
Well, we've all been on a pandemic payment for a year, so we've been saving up for this one. I'm just hoping at this stage we don't see another Annie Power with Concertista, that all the money could be going on to that by the end of it in the doubles and trebles, but we'll see. It looks like a cracking day. Not quite what we'd expected, maybe numerically, but still some fantastic races. The first race is very interesting. Shishkin probably has a free run at it, but the Champion Hurdle looks like one of the better ones we've seen for many a year.
All right, guys, it's now time to take a look at the card for day one of the Cheltenham Festival. Let's have a look at the opening race of the day. Of course, it is a Grade 1. It's a Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle. This race being over 2 miles. And just having a look at some of the key horses that are in the market. Certainly appreciate it's been heavily backed, now into odds on, currently 11-10 on with William Hill. Ballyadam, who Ed's been quite confident about over the past couple of weeks, currently at around that 7-1 mark. We're also seeing Soaring Glory and Blue Lord getting out to decent prices. All right, Stephen, let's get your thoughts on the race. I know that you've been quite keen on Appreciate It. Are you sticking solid?
I think Appreciate It is the clear form choice, but having been thinking that it would be a 5-4, 6-4 chance, and the bookmakers might aggressively try and lay him on the day, he's actually collapsed, and he's now a very tight 5-4 on chance, and there's a world of difference as a punter. I thought 5-4, 6-4 was more than fair. Do I want to back him at 5-4 on? Probably not. So your attentions turn elsewhere at the prices. Meteor has been extremely easy to back of Harry Fry's. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of confidence behind him. So perhaps horses like Ballyadam and Blue Lord come into it. And certainly with the makeup of the race from an each-way perspective, the place terms are very much in punters' favour. So perhaps now, having been raving about Appreciate It and thinking it'd be my nap of the day, you have to move with the markets. If you're not on already, I think there's certainly a case for saving on Ballyadam and Blue Lord each way.
That's good advice. I mean, it's a race that we've seen historically not really go the way of short price favourites. I mean, Shishkin won it last year as a 6-1 chance. Ed, which way are you going? Are you still sticking with Ballyadam at this? Because we're currently getting around that 7-1 quote.
Absolutely. I think it's a very fair each way price still. We won't repeat everything I've said for previous shows, but essentially, he scoped badly over Christmas when beating 12 lengths by Appreciate It. Got that gap down to just over 3 at the Dublin Racing Festival on very deep ground. I must say, it's not going to be quick in Cheltenham, but it's not going to be anywhere near as attritional as it was in Ireland last time out. And he made an absolute Horlicks the last flight of hurdles. And as I said, only 3 lengths to find. Different day, different track, ground riding a bit quicker. He's a strong traveller. I think he's the quicker horse compared to Appreciate It. I think Appreciate It, of course, would be the old-fashioned staying chaser in time. Appreciate It when he won the Royal Ballyadam, when he won the Royal Bond, he quickened up really nicely. He's got the turn of foot. And I think he'll be right in the mix. And as Steve says, if you look at the markets now, we say it every year. I think it was only 1 of 6 odds-on favourites won at Cheltenham Festival last year. Was it 3 out of 7 in 2016? History would tell you the odds-on favourites don't all turn up and they don't all win. Something tends to go awry. So I think Ballyadam each way is still very solid. I'm not deserting him.
Vincent, what about you? We see that the champion Irish trainer Willie Mullins has got 2 chances. The favourite Appreciate It, but he's also got another runner here, Blue Lord, who looks to be hovering under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, he's my tip here. He's been my tip for quite a while each way. Now, I wasn't sure he was going to go for this race. The owners wanted to go for the county hurdle, but Willie persuaded them not to. The horse probably doesn't have the experience for a county hurdle. If you go back to his second last run, rather than his run in the Dublin Racing Festival, he ran behind Bob Ollinger, who Irish people seem to think is the second coming. He's a big contender later in the week. But Bob Ollinger in that race, it was a 2-mile 3 in Naas, and Blue Lord didn't settle at all. He was very free. He jumped like a bunny rabbit over every hurdle, didn't really ping anything, and he pulled for a full 2 miles, but was still there with Bob Ollinger coming down to the last. It was only the run up the hill from the last home that he gave up at that stage. They got him to settle. Brian Cooper rode him in Leopardstown the last day, and they got him to settle in the back behind Appreciate It and Ballyadam. And he travelled like a dream. Jumped beautifully, a completely different animal to the one we'd seen in Naas, who had run Bob Ollinger fairly well over 2-3. I think he's a big contender here. Darryl Jacob rides him today. Small field mightn't suit. I would have preferred to see a bigger field for it, but I think he'll sit out the back and he'll be picking up the pieces coming home, and he'll come strongly up the hill. They think he's a 2.5 mile horse, so he's definitely a contender each way. I could see the 3 from the Dublin Racing Festival, the 1, 2, 3 there, Appreciate It, Ballyadam and Blue Lord, filling the 3 places again. But I think each way, Blue Lord is a big chance.
All right, great insight there. For the record, I'm going with Soaring Glory for John Joe O'Neill. I thought yesterday we're getting value at about 15-2. He's on the drift. He's now out to 11-1, but I think at the each way, with the right form lines coming through the Betfair hurdle, I think he looks a solid each way prospect. All right, let's recap the selections for race 1, which is the Grade 1 Sky Bet Supreme Novices. Ed's gone for Ballyadam, 7-1 to win you can get with Bet365. Stephen's sticking with the favourite, the heavily backed favourite, Appreciate It, now 10-11 or 11-10 on. We've got Blue Lord at the each way for Vincent, and Soaring Glory currently still 10s with William Hill from my perspective. Right, that's the opening race on the card, day 1 at the Cheltenham Festival. Let's take a look at race number 2 on the card, another Grade 1 feature. We've got a very small field here for the Sporting Life Arkle Challenge over 2 miles. The chase with Shishkin dominating the market, currently at 2-1 on. Captain Guinness looking at a good a good option there at about 8-1. I know Ed was quite keen on him as a bit of forecast value. All Mankind, who's been well spruiked, is at around the 11-2 mark, and Franco de Port currently at 12-1. But a small field here, Stephen. Slightly disappointing way that we've seen this field drop away, because it is a race that's been won by many a champion horse in the past. Certainly the talks are Shishkin could be a horse that goes on to becoming a champion chaser in the years to come. He looks very hard to beat.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the most predictable races on paper of the week. All Mankind is a tearaway front runner who's going to lead on his own now because, as you said, we've lost Endigamain with Numitor, who's also a front runner, as a late non-runner this morning. So Harry Skelton will be 5 lengths clear at a brisk pace. He's a low, fast jumper. He has won at Cheltenham over hurdles. The only thing about All Mankind is he's run poorly for me twice at Cheltenham as well. He was tailed off behind Goshen when that one departed in the Triumph hurdle, and he was very disappointing on his seasonal debut here as well. So whether these undulations are ideal, I think he looks a bit of a sitting duck. Shishkin has got one negative, and that's Nico de Boinville, who's been riding pretty poorly for the last few months, in my opinion. He's 2-1 on. He looks all of that on form. Barring jockey error or accidents, he'll win. I think that Captain Guinness, the way the race will be run, could be the one without the favourite if you're looking to play. I think he's around 2-1. He'll be ridden patiently by Rachel Blackmore. When Shishkin overpowers All Mankind, I suspect All Mankind might get very tired and Captain Guinness could pick up the pieces.
When we think Shishkin, Ed, as I mentioned earlier, he won the Supreme Novices last year as a 6-1 chance, but now momentum is certainly building. His CV and resume as a legitimate star of jumps racing has only been building, but 2-1 on, is that too short?
No, I think that's me. I loathe anything under 10-1 these days. You have to prod me with on the hot coals in order to get me to back something like that. But look, he's the right favourite. He's the right price. There's an argument he should be shorter. In all honesty, I think if I was doing a tissue, I had him. I'm actually a bit shorter than this. He's as near to flawless as I've seen a novice chaser for some time. I mean, that second leap on his chase debut at Kempton made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, didn't it? When it was shades of Sprinter Sacre. And look, I pretty much repeat everything Stephen says. I think he'll jump around, he'll win, bar some kind of stupid calamity happening, which does happen at Cheltenham. We've seen it from time to time. The race will be set up for the 2 closers, which are Captain Guinness and Franco de Port, and Captain Guinness would be my marshal pick of the 2 of those to follow him home. I think Shishkin wins convincingly, and I think Captain Guinness will be 8 to 10 lengths behind him, chasing him home.
Vincent, are you team Shishkin?
How can you be anywhere else? That's the issue with his Supreme Novice Hurdle winner, real good winner here last year at the festival. He's been flawless in his 3 runs. The only thing is he's been heavily odds on every time he runs, so he's no good to anyone really at this stage. He was 1-6, 1-3, 1-7 on his first 3 wins. He's going to be 2s on, maybe shorter by the time this comes. If Appreciated wins, he'll end up being 3 because there'll be money rolling on as well. So he's unopposable. I thought maybe, just maybe, this is probably madness, but I thought Eldorado Allen has a little squeak. He was back to beat All Mankind at Sandown back in December when the stable was out of form, and he was given All Mankind £4 that day. You just kind of feel All Mankind is going to be this free horse out in front. I don't think he'll be involved in the finish. I think he'll be a spent force by the time they turn in, and it's who picks up the pieces. We know Shishkin will win, all being equal, and Franco de Port made a howling mistake in Leopardstown the last day. Can't really have him going at speed here. He'll probably make another mistake, and he mightn't survive this one. And then Captain Guinness, he fell the last day. He had a heart problem previously. Just a little bit iffy there. I thought maybe there's a squeak with the 50-1 outsider to pick up the pieces.
All right, I can't add much more. I think Shishkin wins. I think at 2's on, he looks a pretty solid bet to add to his an amazing record all so far in his career. Well, let's have a look at, once again, the team tips for the Sporting Life Arkle, the second of the grade ones on the card, and we're all team Shishkin, currently at 2-1 on. He certainly does look one of the most exciting horses in National Hunt racing, and probably in 12 months' time, we'll see him competing in the Queen Mother Champion Chase. He is an electrifying chaser, and it does look to be his race for the taking. Let's move on to the first of the handicap races for Cheltenham in 2021, race number 3 on the card, and this is a tough one. It's the Ultima Handicap Steeplechase. Having a look at some of the key horses in the market, Happy Go Lucky is your favourite at 10-3, one for the team at 8-1, Milan Natives at around 7-1 with Paddy Power, and I Right's also certainly well in the mix there at 11-2. All right, Stephen, let's get your thoughts on race number 3, the first of the handicap chases. Which way are you going?
I prefer I Right here. I think he's had been underestimated in the market, trained by a small northern trainer, Harriet Graham, who does really well with her small team of horses. He ran an absolute blinder last time at Doncaster in the Sky Bet, went close up behind Taking Risks. the rider lost the stick there. Not that it made much difference, but I also think over hurdles, he was a 5-time hurdle winner this one, and he really was better on good ground. So I was thinking in the lead up to Cheltenham, things were drying out. He could be open to more improvement on decent ground for the first time over fences. But obviously, we've had the rain. Soft ground's fine for him. I think he'll definitely run well. He's another one of these horses that I was thinking, well, 10-1, play each way, 4 places, looks very fair. He's now 6-1, so the juice has gone out slightly from his price. I do think Happy Go Lucky is the one that everyone's been tipping up. Kim Bailey flying, David Bass, brilliant jockey from the front. The only thing about Happy Go Lucky, well, there's 2 things now. He's 130, as you've said, and his form over fences is all in small fields. Whether he's jumping or cut the mustard in a big field with unable to lead on his own, I have my doubts. So I write for me, marginal now, 6-1.
All right, Ed, no doubt you want to go wide in this race. You found a few at a decent price for us?
Yeah, just generally, I personally think Happy Go Lucky is an atrocious price. It's not to say he's very much priced up on what he can achieve rather than what he has achieved, and I suppose that is perfectly fair, and many bookmakers take that stance. But around the short as 11-4 in places, I don't think his form warrants him being as short as that in a 16-runner field. So, I mean, I've got a short list of about 15 in this 16-runner race. But essentially, I think Nadam, with the recent rains, really going to come into the equation. An exposed sort for the Dan Skelton team. I think he'll enjoy 3 miles. But I've thrown a bigger one in here at a big price. I mean, he is huge. He's around the 66-1 mark or thereabouts. It's Delire Destraval for Ben Pauling. Same connections, of course, for beating a nose in this race 12 months ago with Kildesart. And this horse, I think 3 miles of soft ground would be no issue. It would just be his current well-being. He'd been off the track injured since winning nicely and then was pulled up at Kempton last time out. However, I think the aim of that run was very much just to get rid of the ring rust and the cobwebs after the best part of a year off the track. Handicap has given him a bit of a gift and he's dropped him £3. As I said, he's down to 143, which is a nice kind of rating, man. If you're one of the kind of historians of this race, you look for something in that kind of ballpark figure, something that perhaps still a little bit unexposed. And look, he's a bit of a left of field selection. So say check your each way concessions in terms of what bookmakers are playing, what places. But Delire Destraval, if he ran into third, it's 66-1. I don't think it'd be the biggest shock in history of horse racing. But I am starting to really warm to Nadam for the Dan Skelton team too.
All right, a couple there at a big price. What about you, Vincent?
I've no real strong opinion on this, to be honest with you. 16-runner handicap. Chase is not my cup of tea. Irish was the one that's most likely. I think he's by Yates. I like that sire. He's got a top jockey on him, Richard Johnson. These Cheltenham handicaps, the go-to position is pick a top rider. That's the thing for me, because they'll give you a run for your money. They're going to get them safely around rather than some gung-ho young guy trying to make a name for himself. Richard Johnson will do the right thing. He'll be involved somewhere if the horse is good enough.
Right, and I thought Pim was a good each-way chance here at around 12-1 for Nicky Henderson and Stephen's favourite jockey, Nico de Boinville. I just thought if he can go to his form of 2 starts ago, he's going to be right in the thick of things. And at the each-way, at around that 12-1 quote, he looks quite attractive here. Let's recap the team selections for race number 3, the Ultima Handicap Steeplechase. And there we go, long shot, Ted. Ed has gone for a 66-1 chance at the each way. Stephen with I write, as is Vincent, and myself siding with Pim. But it's really going to be quite an interesting race. Hopefully they'll run at a strong tempo, the first of the handicap races for the week. Just a reminder too to head to bettingexpert.com and sign up for the Predictor competition. It's free to enter and it's a great way for you to get involved and win some fantastic prizes over the course of the week. All you need to do is put forward a selection in each of the races at Cheltenham. Head to bettingexpert.com, sign up for the Predictor, and hopefully you'll be walking away with the best part of £500 if you come out on top in the competition each day of the week. And there's an overall competition prize also of £500. Let's move on to the next race on the card, and this is the Unibet Champion Hurdle, the first of the championship races for the week. And we're seeing so much money coming for Honeysuckle, the unbeaten supermare. She's well backed this morning and probably one of the heaviest back runners of the week. We're seeing a big move on a drift for Goshen. Epatante certainly not well sought after this morning in early markets. And Abacadabra at the each way is another one who's getting out to a decent price. All right, Stephen, 10 runners for the first of the championship races, the Champion Hurdle. What's your overall assessment of the race?
This is another fascinating race in the market, Shane. We've seen Honeysuckle, who was 2-1 hawking for the past couple of weeks or bigger, is now a rock solid 5-4 chance. The JP McManus-owned Epatante's gone for a walk. Goshen seems very weak, and it's sort of 12-1 bar the front three. I think Honeysuckle now is a diabolical price on form. I absolutely accept she could well win. She's won 11 out of 11. Whether she's a real speed 2-miler is open to question. She has got a very good setup now. Not so sleepy's in the race. As a spoiler, I suspect, for Goshen. Silver Streak I can't have at all. That won't be able to lead. I think I'll be surprised if that's in the first four. So perhaps it boils down to a match between the two mares. At the prices now, Epatante is bigger than 7-2 on the exchanges. I think you can only back her. You have got to forgive Kempton. You've got to take a lot on trust. But she is a very smooth traveller with a turn of foot. They're going to go a right gallop here. She can sit out the heat of it and pick them up the hill. Certainly at the prices, she's nearly 4-1, 4-1 or 5-4. You can only back Epatante now.
All right, good push there for Epatante, the defending champion, to keep her crown. Ed, you were giving us a good push in previous editions of this show around Abacadabra at a decent price. You sticking with him?
Yeah, absolutely. Slightly perturbed by the drift, but I'm actually think it's not so much Abacadabra's drifted; it's more the weight of money just arriving for Honeysuckle. No one here defeat for the unbeaten mare, and I think she's the right favourite. I agree with Stephen to a large extent. Again, she could even go off even money in this, which is a little bit crackers personally. I think let's not forget there's some very, very good horses in this lineup. I'm Abacadabras each way. I think coming into the home straight, there won't be a horse going better than him. I understand the critique and perhaps what will he always find off the bridle, but I think he gets called a few unfair names. He's a two-time Grade 1 winner, got within a nose of Shishkin last year at the festival. That looks excellent form now, doesn't it? And as I said, I think he'll come there absolutely tanking. Whether he could see off the whole field or not and has that kind of, perhaps he's better on a flatter track, that is open to debate. But then in part, that's why you're getting a double figure price to find out, if you like. So I think Abacadabra is back at Cheltenham, and again, on substantially better ground than what he's been racing on in Ireland all winter, it has to be said. It was very, very testing, and the time was very slow in Ireland last time out at the Dublin Racing Festival. So yeah, Abacadabras each way for me. He runs into a plate. If he wins, I'm going to be absolutely cock-a-hoot. But if he feels the frame, I'll be chuffed.
Right, what about you, Vincent? Which way are you looking at the race?
Well, it's hard to believe how short Honeysuckle has gone. She was obviously unbelievably impressive at the Dublin Racing Festival. She blew away Abacadabras and Sharjah. They're a long way behind, 10 lengths, 9 lengths. They're big gaps. She's very, very good. And the key to her, obviously, as well, is Rachel Blackmore. This girl is special. She's been incredible here the last 2 or 3 years. She was 27 before she started to turn pro. Which is incredible when you think about jockeys in general. Most of them have given up at that stage, or some of them have anyway. She will give this horse a fantastic ride, and if the horse is good enough, it won't have anything to do with Rachel Blackmore if it gets beat. She is terrific. She does everything right every single day. So that's a real plus, having her in your corner, which is hard to believe. You'd think maybe 5 years ago if someone said that to you, that there's a girl riding a horse in the Champion Hurdle and she's the asset, and this is the case here. For me, I think Goshen has to have a chance. Like we saw the Triumph last year, Goshen has the look of something special, and we know things went wrong there for a while on the flat and mixing it and everything else, but the run the last day was something special again. Looking around from 3 out, this horse could be anything, and I can't wait to see that race. I think it's between the two. I don't think Epatante is good enough. She won a fair renewal last year, but she beat Sharjah 3 lengths. Sharjah, in my book, isn't good enough to win a Champion Hurdle. I don't think Epatante is good enough to be a dual Champion Hurdle winner, certainly not against the likes of Honeysuckle and Goshen. One of them has that star quality, I hope.
All right, the Goshen there, currently at around 11-2. I'm with you, Vincent. I think Goshen's certainly a great bet. And I just would love to see him win, not only because he's out to a big price, but I think Twitter and other social media channels will light up if he can turn his form around after the disaster of 12 months ago. But speaking to Gary Moore on this program last week, he was very bullish about his prospects. All right, let's have a look at the team selections for the championship race, the Champion Hurdle, sponsored by Unibet. Ed's gone for Abacadabra, Epatante for Stephen Harris, Vincent, myself with Goshen, but it's going to be a fantastic race. And it's amazing to think that none of us have gone for the heavily backed favourite Honeysuckle, so we might end up with a bit of mud on our face there in a day's time as we review some of the selections. But it's going to be a fascinating contest there, the first of the championship races. The final Grade 1 on the card for day one is the Close Brothers Mares Hurdle, over 2.5 miles. Let's have a look at some of the key contenders for this race. And Concertista has certainly been heavily backed, now at around 11 to 8, coming through this morning with William Hill. Dama de Compagnie at 7 to 1. Roxana, who's certainly been well spruiked, is now at 11 to 4. And Black Tears is another one well in the market there at around 12 to 1. Stephen, a fascinating race. 11 mares to face the starter for the Grade 1. Which way are you going?
This is another one that the market have absolutely smashed this morning, Concertista. I think she was bigger than 6 to 4 even yesterday, and she's now looking at the exchanges 11 to 10 tight. On form, I think Concertista and Roxana are the two to concentrate on, but I'm not telling you anything new that anyone else can't see. I mean, Concertista was incredibly impressive in the mares race last year. 22 runner race, not off the bridle to saunter 12 lengths clear. That was her only visit to Cheltenham. She's been trained for this race. I always think with Roxana, she's looked better than ever this season. She's got winning Cheltenham form, but she does carry her tail at 90 degrees, which is a real bugbear for me. Now, she's perfectly genuine. She's a strong traveller with a turn of foot. But I'm always at the back of my mind that she's got the potential to blow out altogether one day. And I suspect up against a mare of Concertista's class, she might really struggle to get past her up the hill.
The fact you use saunter gives you bonus points, so good luck with your selection there. Which way are you going, Ed?
Yeah, it's weird. Having long been against Concertista in the build-up to this, I'm now actually just starting to come around to her. My worry was, we were looking at the long-range forecast, if you watch this mare run, she's got a pretty high old knee action on her. She sauntered through very soft ground at the festival last year. She was doing her winning on soft ground, and I do think this recent rain has really aided her chances, in all honesty. Again, I'm a little bit on the fence with her in the sense that she's priced up again as if she's miles clear of these. Well, she's not. On official rating, she'd be giving nothing to Roxana in a handicap. Dame de Compagnie is only, £5 behind. I don't think she's as far clear as perhaps the price suggests. So, naturally, I'm looking for each way alternatives, and Dame de Compagnie would be my kind of tentative each way play in here. Not one of my strongest views of the day, but I do think this is a mare, of course, won the Coral Cup last year, has the course of distance form, didn't look a natural over fences at the time to her departure last time out, switched back over hurdles. I don't think that's a bad thing. Ground holds no fears, track holds no fears. I say again, if she was in the frame, I wouldn't be shocked yet. Concertista's she's a mare who's divided me. I can't work out where I think she's the bet of the day, or I think she's the worst value of the week. Well, I suppose we'll probably find out in a couple of hours' time, won't we? But yeah, I'm essentially Dame de Compagnie. If she follows home, Concertista wouldn't be shocked.
Vincent, there's certainly been a lot of money for Concertista in the past 24 hours. Have you got her on top?
I do. I'm not quite sure why, in a sense. She went and she was beaten in a photo finish by Eglantine de Soy, another Willie Mullins horse, 2 years ago in the Mare's Novice race. And then she still hadn't won a maiden. She hadn't won a maiden at that stage in Ireland. She hadn't won a maiden after that. She went back to Cheltenham last year, still a maiden, but won 12 lengths in the same race, a second season novice. Since then, she's been turned inside out from that run. She's had 2 runs in Ireland since, each time getting more impressive than the previous one. She looks the one. I'm really surprised Paul Townend is riding, because Daryl Jacob is the retained jockey for the owners, and he rode her last year to win 12 lengths. It seems surprising that he's not on her. I don't know what the reason for that is. I presume it's a Willie Mullins call. I think she'll win. She's a bit short to be backing in a single. Maybe with these multiples from earlier on, you just fear those multiples. The bookmakers get it. They get one to fall somewhere along the way, and maybe it'll be her. I don't know, because we've had problems in this race in the past. One I thought at a price has a solid each way chance is Black Tears. It's a former Gordon Elliott horse. Jack Kennedy rides it. Very solid horse. Can't be too far away. Goes on the ground, stays the trip. Rarely runs a bad race. I thought the each way value is probably there now, but realistically, Concertista should win.
Right, Concertista on top there. I thought Great White Sharks got out to a stupid price at around the 20 to 1 mark. Her best form is not that much inferior than, say, the best form of Concertista. She was impressive winning 2 starts ago. And I think at the each way at around 20 to 1 for Willie Mullins. She's worthy of a gamble. Let's recap the team selections for the Group 1, or the Grade 1, I should say, Close Brothers Mares Hurdle. Ed's going with Dama de Compagnie, Concertista for both Stephen and Vincent, and Great White Shark, 16 to 1 with Bet365 as my each way selection. Move on to the next race on the card, and this is one of traditionally the toughest betting races of the week, and that is the Boodles Fred Winter Juvenile Handicap Hurdle, a Grade 3 contest, a big field. We've got 22 horses to face the starter. St Sam at 11 to 2, Riviere de Tal at 9 to 1, Bustleton at 17 to 2, and Hoy Gris at 5 to 1 are some of the leading contenders for this race. Stephen, let's get your assessment here. I think it's a tough race. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's at least 8 to 1 the field on form. I've got a short list of 2, one from Britain, one from Ireland. I do like Riviere de Tal, who's only run a couple of times in Ireland. Really impressive first time out. Punches down in a huge field, went back down to 6 to 4 on, winning on the bridle. And then she's been given a chance by the handicapper because she got beaten at Navan last time out where she pulled too hard, jumped a little bit out to right, wasn't suited, I didn't think, by making the running and not settling in front, and a little bit disappointing there. As a result of that, I think she's got into her first handicap really lightly. I suspect they'll ride her with a lot more patience. They won't be trying to lead, that's for sure. She might settle for the first time, and I suspect she could be a lot better than her mark. She's around about 8 to 1 at the moment. And the other one I was keen on, who's less unexposed, Gary Moore's Nassalam, the top weight, who hasn't settled either in any race over hurdles. He won a couple of bad races by miles at Fontwell, and he bumped into Montmiral last time at Haydock, which is an extremely smart horse. Now handicapping, dropped the bit for the first time in a big field, no stamina problems. I can see him coming through and rewarding each way support up the hill.
All right, Riviere de Tal on top, but Nassalam is an each way option from Stephen. Ed, you found one at a big price for us?
Yeah, I'm kind of 2 V to field, one from England, one from Ireland. Yeah, Hell Red, the Paul Nicholls second string, I think is overpriced. Obviously, all the talks have been about stablemate Hugh Green to build up to this, but Paul Nicholls has won this race 3 times and there's history of a bit of skullduggery. His third string won this back in 2015 with Orlando, and I think Hell Red fits a similar kind of bill. Absolutely hacked up on debut at Chepstow's, had an issue and had a wind operation since. I was disappointed that Wincanton were beating odds on last time out, but anyone who saw the ground at Wincanton that day, I mean, it was like the Limpopo. It was absolute swamp. And I think we'll come on a lot for that fitness-wise. And the handicapper's given that with a little gift of dropping it £3. Brody Frost on board around the 40 to 1 mark, I think will go well. And one from the Irish team, Sophonien, I thought for Dennis Hogan was interesting that Richard Johnson been booked to ride. So it's absolutely hacked up last time out at Nace. Gets in here off 130, but only reservation would be the Dennis Hogan team. I think they've gone 6 weeks without a winner. So the yard might have gone a bit cold at the wrong time, but nonetheless looks an exciting juvenile. So Sophonien from Ireland and Hell Red each way for Paul Nicholls and my 2V to field in. What I think, as Stephen points out, I think we're getting a little bit carried away from a price perspective, seeing St Sam in as short as 7 to 2 in some places. Yes, he may be good enough, but oh crikey, I could never back horse to 7 to 2 in a 24 runner juvenile handicap.
Vince, it's great to see a true legend of world racing, Dermot Weld, represented with a runner here in Coltor.
Yeah, funny, I have a tip for this. I've had a tip for this for a couple of weeks. If you go through Coltor's form, this has a chance today. The main reason that it has a chance is the headgear he's put on. He's put on a visor today. This horse ran on the flat in the Moiglair colours and had some decent form. They backed it several times in maidens, well back first time out, 12 to 1 to 5 to 2 in a maiden the first day, but got beat. They won with it on its third start when he put the visor on, and it won real well. The second horse came out and won. It looked solid form. They've had 3 runs over hurdles. It has form with that horse that Ed was mentioning, Zoffanian. It beat that 2 necks on its last run, and it's now £3 better off having beaten it a pair of necks. So it definitely is handicapped to be involved here somewhere, but I think the key to it could well be that they've stuck the visor back on for the second time.
All right, and from my perspective, I think Nassalam's got out to a big price. Speaking with Gary Moore last week, I think he's going to make a tremendous chaser in time. But if you're getting around 18 to 1, 20 to 1 for him in this, despite carrying the top weight, I think he's a fantastic each-way bet. Let's recap the team selections for the Fred Winter, sponsored by Boodles, and Ed's gone for Hell Red at a big price there, 40 to 1 each way with Bet365. 9 to 1 the win for Riviere for Stephen. Coltor at the each way, 12 to 1 with Bet Victor for Vincent. And Nassalam, you're getting 20 to 1 each way from my selection with Boyle Sports. And we move to the final race of the day, guys, and we've got a marathon contest to wrap up the proceedings. This is the Grade 2 National Hunt Challenge Cup this year, of course, in honour of Sam Vesti. Having a look at some of the horses in the market. Next Destination, I'll get that out, at 5 to 2 with Paddy Power. Ascaria 10 at 9 to 2, also with Paddy Power. Galvin, who's been well spruiked for this race, at 100 to 30 with William Hill, or 10 to 3. And Remastered at 7 to 1's another one well in the market with Paddy Power. Stephen, this race over almost 4 miles. Tough way to finish day one.
Yeah, it's a really open race. All of the front of the market have got stamina to prove. I did like Next Destination, Paul Nicholls. When he won at Warwick last time, he got taken on for the lead at a really brisk pace and still won. Now, the horse he beat is a perpetual bridesmaid, but still, it was a taking performance. I have no doubt he will definitely stay 3 mile 5. The only negative with him now is, having thought he'd be 4 or 5 to 1, he's now 5 to 2 favourite. So again, like a stuck record, the juice has gone out of his price. Perhaps Galvin is the one. He's had Cheltenham experience. They've saved him fresh since he won a few months ago round here. He didn't jump fantastic that day, but he had loads in hand. I doubt he'll have any problems staying, and he's gone to a much bigger price now. He's 9 to 2. He's gone the other way to Next Destination. So perhaps now the value lies with him.
All right, Next Destination on top, though, from Stephen. Ed, you found one at a big price for us?
Yeah, indeed. I think it's just a classy renewal, actually, this contest. I agree. I think Next Destination is the right favourite, and of the top 5 or 6 in the market, he's the one I think is the most likely winner. But Nestor Park, look, I make no illusions. This horse needs to find quite a bit on official figures. However, every time this horse has run over shorter trips, including over 3 1/4 miles to 3 miles, he has been doing all his best work in the closing stages. Not always does the best horse win this. This can often come down to a battle of wills. This is going to be 3 miles, 6 furlongs on sticky ground. Stamina, obviously, is going to be the name of the game. And Nestor Park, essentially, is a Grand National horse in waiting. He will just run on the one pace and stay. Again, I'm obviously got my long shot goggles on today, trying to look for those a little bit outside the box that can run into the place money at a price. I think Next Destination wins, but Nestor Park, look out for him. He's, as I said, he's jumping at times, has got a little bit of miss, but he is a thorough stayer. And as I said, I just think if you've ever seen a horse who really wants a proper test of stamina, this is it. And I suppose we'll see today. I put it this way, I think he's got over a stone to find on official figures, but I think he can narrow that gap through the fact he's going up in trip. So Nestor Park for Ben Pauling. Of course, they won this race a couple of years ago with Lebroy. And I think, again, he was a horse who connections were surprised at the fact he was going so far. And it's a similar type of angle in here with Nestor Park. He's a horse who'll be running around 2.5, 3 miles, but I think 3 mile 6 is his trip.
All right, Vincent, are you sticking with one of the favoured runners, or are you going wide as well?
No, it's a funny race this year because this is one of the big races for amateurs every year, and they can't ride in it now under the new pandemic rules, which is a pity. It was a race that all you had to do was look at what Derek O'Connor, Jamie Codd, or Patrick Mullins rides, and you're going to be involved. We haven't got them this year, so we're left with the fact that and as well as that, I'm going to tip a horse whose trainer hasn't had a winner in 6 years, which is unbelievable. Galvin. This horse has been laid out for it. He's a Gordon Elliott horse. He's moving out to Ian Ferguson, who'd basically given up training. He's going to have a winner. I think they've primed this horse for it. He ran at the festival last year, finished second. Then they gave him a run at Cheltenham before Christmas. And again, wins well. It's all about the trip. It's all about staying. I agree with Stephen. He's not the greatest jumper you've ever seen, but they're going to be going slow here. Softish ground, nearly 4 miles. He'll pop around the fences. He will stay. And I think he's a fantastic each way bet at the price he is now. He's drifted out a little bit this morning. I think he'll shorten up come race time.
All right, Galvin, for the trainer to get his first winner in 6 years. You heard it there from Vincent. That's going to be quite fascinating and great story if we can wrap up the day for him. I can't add much more to Next Destination. I think he is the horse to beat in the race, and I've got him on top. Let's recap the team selections for the final event on the card. The Sam Vesti National Hunt Novices Chase at Grade 2 level. Ed with Nestor Park at a huge price. Stephen with Next Destination, as I have. And Vincent going for Galvin, who certainly would be a brilliant story. And the horse has been in fantastic form so far this season. All right, guys, as we reflect on day one of the Cheltenham Festival and your thoughts, I'll get a nap or a best bet from all of you if I could. Stephen, we'll start with you. Which way do you think will be the best or the most guaranteed source of success for day one?
Well, my nap of the day is Appreciate It, but as I say, that was probably at 5-4 or 6-4. Now I'll go with I Write, who I think is about 6 or 7-1.
All right, I Write there. What about you, Ed?
Just to complicate things, but I'm a Ballyadam Abacadabras each way double. I'll be disappointed if either of those are out of the frame.
All right, and Vincent, your thoughts? What's the best way to tackle day one?
I'd be something similar to Ed in the sense of an each way double. I think Blue Lord in the first and Galvin in the last. I think the two of them will be involved, and you'll hopefully show a little profit.
Guys, great working with you today. Good luck day one of Cheltenham, and I look forward to catching up with you all again tomorrow.
Cheers, Shane.
Cheers.
And I've got to say, my best of the day, I think Soaring Glory, race number 1, getting out to 11-1 at the each way is a really good way to start what will hopefully be a lucrative 4 days of the 2021 Cheltenham Festival. Just a reminder, head to irishracing.com and you can get all the latest fields, forms, selections and odds. Vincent and the team do a fantastic job. And of course, I'll have a lot of great coverage coming your way for the Cheltenham Festival. And make sure you head to bettingexpert.com. Not only do you get Stephen's insights for racing in the UK each and every day. Of course, he's got a lot of work going into the Cheltenham Festival, but make sure you head to Betting Expert and sign up for the Predictor competition. Still got a couple of hours to get in there and enter, free to enter, and some great prizes, hopefully, that you can secure over the next few days. Hope you've enjoyed today's edition, the first of the live streaming editions of Jump to It, as we look ahead to what is going to be a fantastic 4 days of racing at the Cheltenham Festival. We'll see you again tomorrow.